Hi there. Thank you so much for taking some time to join us today for the board candidate interviews. Why don't you go ahead and take some time and tell us a little bit about yourself? Give us your name, what neighborhood you live in, any clubs or groups you participate in. Just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Mary Ellen Smith. I live in Redbud. I moved here in 2021 from Crystal Beach, Texas, which is right across the ferry from Galveston. I'm currently on the board safety committee and neighborhood watch coordinator for Redbud. I retired from AT&T after 21 years as market manager, and then went on to own my own businesses, a collective, which included a restaurant for 14 years. And from there, I became a real estate broker, which I have done since 97.
All right. Anything else, or are we ready to move on?
We can move on.
All right. Thank you. All right. So let's go ahead and start with question number one. What motivated you to run for the HOA board?
Well, for the last 40 some odd years, I believe that if everybody contributed a little bit to their neighborhood, their community, that we could make it work. It's when we don't participate that things don't work as well as they could.
Thank you. Next question. What experience do you have that you believe will benefit our community?
Well, as I said, I've been self-employed for the last 40 plus years. So you learn a lot about budgeting and planning and that type of thing, and working with the public and working with your employees. Also, I've lost my train of thought, sorry. Also, I have worked on multiple boards from the Bolivar Special Utility District to being president of the Galveston Association of Realtors and several other boards.
All right. How familiar are you with the current bylaws, rules, and regulations of our HOA?
Well, that's kind of a loaded question because the CCRs are so extensive. The only thing I would say, yes, I'm reasonably familiar with them. I'm familiar enough to know that the CCRs actually really should be updated. The last amendment was even from Pulte, and of course they're gone, and we really need to update our CCRs.
Okay, thank you. Next question. How much time are you able to commit to your role as an HOA board member?
Well, having forced myself into semi-retirement from real estate broker, I have all the time that I need.
Excellent. Have you served on an HOA board before? And if so, what was your experience?
I have not served on an HOA board. Of course, being in real estate, I have contact with HOA boards, but my board experience, as I mentioned earlier, has been more government, professional type boards that have somewhat of the same goals and objectives that the HOA board would. You're dealing still with people on one side and trying to achieve things on the other side and trying to match the two.
Thank you. Next question. How would you ensure that your actions as a board member are aligned with the overall needs of the community, rather than pursuing a specific personal agenda or goal, or the goal of a particular club or group?
Well, and I think you'll hear me say this a lot, communication and listening is just critical to being on any board, to being in any business. You have to listen, excuse me, to what the people want, and then try to align that with what is needed to make the organization work.
Thank you. Next question. How do you approach conflict resolution, especially when dealing with disagreements among residents or board members?
Well, this is going to sound like a broken record, but it's back to communication and listening. Listening is probably 75% of getting to a particular objective for both of you that matches.
Thank you. Next question. What role do you see yourself playing on the board?
Well, I don't know. I'm willing to go and do whatever the board needs me to. I know that you have people that are there now that have been in those positions that are doing wonderful jobs. I'm a firm believer that the board has done a great job, that there's always ways to improve. So I would say that I would be willing to go where, do whatever the board needed me to in whatever position.
Excellent. Next question. How would you handle a situation where a board decision you supported was unpopular with a significant portion of the community?
I really think you're making me become a broken record. The first thing you have to do is listen to what the objections are, and then see if you can overcome those objections, or maybe they're right. Maybe it needs to be reviewed again. But normally you've done your homework before you make that decision. And so you just have to graciously live with it if it still seems to be the proper decision. But listening is very high on what people want from you.
Thank you. What do you believe is the most important role of an HOA board member?
First, to protect the assets that we have. We have a lot invested in our infrastructure, in our common areas. We have to protect that investment because it's what helps bring people to our neighborhood. But we also recognize we have to do that within the limits of our budget and the limits of, what we can do. And we have to align what we're doing with what the residents want.
Thank you. Next question. How do you prioritize the needs of the community when resources are limited?
Well, I would say in most organizations, resources are limited. So you design your budget to do what needs to be done. Like I said, I think the first thing is protection of our current assets, making sure that we do not let them deteriorate to where we can't replace them, or where it's going to cost more to replace them down the road than it is to maintain them now. Repeat the question.
Sure. How do you prioritize the needs of the community when resources are limited?
Okay, I think I really basically answered that. You do have to keep in mind what the residents want, but you are responsible for maintaining the assets.
Thank you. Next question. What experience do you have with budgeting and financial management?
The only experience that I really have is, number one, owning my own businesses and having to do that to stay alive. Stay alive in the restaurant business for 14 years is, well, anyway, it's difficult, but I managed to do that. And then also, of course, when I was with the Bolivar Peninsula Special Utility District, I was with them, with the board, before Hurricane Ike and after Hurricane Ike. And if anyone is aware of Crystal Beach, we were the ones on Bolivar Peninsula that were decimated by Hurricane Ike. So we were rebuilding our homes, my own business, and on the board trying to rebuild the infrastructure for the water department. So I'm aware of it there and under very extenuating circumstances.
Thank you. How would you balance the need for maintenance and improvements with the financial constraints of the community?
I think we answered that one. I think we did. That you've got to maintain your assets. That's the bedrock of of the homeowners association here and the subdivision, so you have to maintain those. And the board has been good in making sure that we had enough money to proceed in all of our capital reserves and our reserves, that as long as you continue that road, I don't think we should have a problem.
All right. Okay, Mary Ellen, now I'm going to put you on the spot. So how about we give you a couple of seconds for a final thought, things that you would like residents to take away from your interview.
Well, I think there's a lot of qualified people running. I think there's qualified people on the board. I think my name should be in the hat because I do have years of experience in running businesses, which is not too different than being on a board, running a board. You have the same constraints of your budget. You have the same opportunities with your clients, your customers, or your residents. And I think that I can handle that. And I also think that I can dedicate the time to do that. And I love the community. I think it's great. And I would like to make my contribution.
Well, thank you again, Mary Ellen, for coming in and taking some time out of your schedule for this brief interview. I look forward to chatting with you some more soon. Okay, you have yourself a great rest of your day.
Thank you.